Welcome to Absolute Counter, Episode 9.
Freestyle mode.
Hey guys, this is Vegas.
And this is Darkscream.
We didn't really have a particular topic, so we decided to go into freestyle mode and kind of press that on the title screen.
Yeah, we're just going to talk about whatever is on our minds for like the first 20 minutes that might be non-gaming related, and then who knows, maybe the last 40 minutes we'll focus on what video games we played and stuff. But I remember in the Discord chat, Matt Ween asked a question for the podcast, and he asked, are you guys going to do an episode about mecha video games? And the idea has come across my mind, but I was thinking about waiting until Daemon X Machina comes out, because I was planning on picking up that game, but I don't know if I'm going to. At least not right away, because just money's been tight for me as of late.
Yeah, I kind of understand it, and look at September already. I have 2 big games coming out, right?
Right.
And then I have 2 downloadable games coming out this week as of this recording. So for me, I know one you're not going to get, and that's Final Fantasy VIII, because I want to give that game a chance. And then the other one for me is one that you'll probably get, and that's River City Girls.
Yeah, that's the game I'm going to get for sure.
Yeah, that comes out Friday, right?
Yeah, I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to talk about beat-em-ups when we get into the game, because I have a beat-em-up I really want to talk up about. It's one that I used to talk about on this other show, and I got kicked off for playing that game, so don't kick me out.
All right, yeah, that could be the next episode, actually.
What?
Beat 'em ups.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck, dude. There's something that's been weighing on my mind, and it's really about this generation of gaming, and it kind of goes into something you and I have said, but let's save that for the gaming section.
All right. Well, As for non-gaming related stuff, I know we said we were going to record early, but I'm sorry it came out late because I was actually in the middle of watching the second episode of this Amazon show called The Boys.
Ooh. I haven't watched that, but I'm watching another original show on a streaming service.
All right. Well, I've heard about this series, the comic book, almost a decade ago, and I've heard some really interesting things about it. And I was surprised that it got adapted as an Amazon Prime original TV series. I thought I was going to get a film adaptation, and wow, you sound like you are fucking breathing through a respirator.
No, I'm fine. What? Okay, I'm ready. Go ahead.
All right. Well, anyways, yeah, I'm only 2 episodes in. I've heard great things about the show, and it's basically made by a guy who clearly hates superheroes. It's just a huge hate boner for him. I believe it was Garth Ennis adaptation. Yes.
Let me say something about Garth Ennis. He's a deconstructionist. Okay, of things that he doesn't like, he'll turn it around. For example, he is a very well-known militant atheist. He does not like religion, but his best known work is what? Preacher, which is a deconstruction of religion in its very core. And he's written several other works that deconstruct elements of religion. I think Preacher's more of an overall, but there's another work where he deconstructs Christianity. And then, of course, The Boys is the work where he deconstructs superheroes. One of my favorite works is actually a Marvel story that he wrote called Thor Vikings, and he deconstructs the fucking Avengers in it. He kills them off in it.
Wow, damn.
It's an alternate story. Basically, the premise is these Vikings die and they come back as the undead, and they even kick the shit out of Captain America and all that. And Thor is really the only one, him and Doctor Strange, and it's a deconstruction of Thor. So everything he writes is a deconstruction.
All right. Other things I've watched, I actually had plans to review an anime that's airing right. It got uploaded on the streaming service. I guess you can't say it's airing right now, but I have to wait until the second half of episodes come out because Netflix has got a weird release schedule. I was going to review Kengan Ashura, but since the show's not finished and I'd rather review a show after I'm done watching it from point A to point B, I don't want to jump the gun. I'm gonna have to hold that off. So I might review another thing in its place instead for hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sounds good. What?
Um.
Anything else you're watching?
Uh. Uh. I think that's it. I haven't seen movies recently. I haven't even seen Spider-Man: Homecoming, and I don't care that Sony took the fucking rights away.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't
I
care.
have a lot of opinions on that because you know how I feel about MCU, but that's beside the point. Um, I guess, to me, I actually am in the minority where I do like the Tobey and Garfield films better than I do these new fucking little kid Spider-Mans who's Iron Man's bitch, you know? And that bothers me. I'll tell you why. Stan Lee once said, who I'm critical of, but this would make sense. When he created Spider-Man, Spider-Man was the anti-sidekick, right? You knew that.
Yeah, you told me.
Yeah. Well, I'll say it on air again. Why the fuck did they make him into Tony Stark's sidekick?
I I I don't know.
Fortunately, though, we got Spider-Verse.
Yes, that was actually a really good movie. I liked it a
Hell yeah.
lot.
Hell yeah. As for watching, I started Dark Crystal. I I cannot say a lot because it ties into my other podcast.
Oh, okay.
But let's talk real quick about your experiences with it. Have you seen the original or anything?
No, I haven't.
You never have seen Dark Crystal?
Nope.
You well, at least watch the movie. It's on Netflix. It's really good, man.
I know.
And,
I probably should, but I
yeah,
just got a lot of shit on my plate and very little time on my hands. So
that's true. But if you ever get a chance, watch it. Have you ever seen Labyrinth, the other Jim Henson fantasy film?
is that the one with David Bowie in it?
Yep.
No, I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, I love that one too. And David Bowie's such a great villain in it.
Well, yeah, but like I said, I can't even all these JRPGs coming out like Dragon Quest XI and
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
Can't fucking play those. Not because I can't afford them, but because I won't have the time to get around to them. So what's the point playing What's the point for paying full price now when I can probably wait till discount drop? By then I would have completed a JRP or two already.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what I've kind of been watching. But I have been watching some wrestling too. I'll say that wrestling is certainly changing, as we all know. WWE is getting decent again. Their storylines are becoming a little bit more stable. The thing is that there's a couple missteps here and there, but they're not like forgetting storylines or doing a storyline for 2 weeks to build something up that should be longer and forget about it. It's not that crap.
All right, that's good. Speaking of wrestling, I've actually been listening to a couple podcasts you recommended to me.
Okay, the Conrad Thompson podcast. He's good, huh?
Oh yeah, I fucking love Conrad Thompson because he's a really good host. But sometimes he won't put up with complete bullshit. Guys, you can find Eric Bischoff's 83 Weeks podcast on YouTube, and I think he cuts certain moments out and highlight. Find the Starrcade 1997 highlight where they talk about the end, where they botched the finish between Hogan and Sting. And watch Conrad Thompson flip out because Eric Bischoff thought, among other things, but one of the things that just stuck out the most was, well, Sting, he wasn't really prepared. He didn't have his tan ready. You flipped the finish over a tan?
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what the thing about him is, as aggressive as he gets, he's not really an arrogant guy.
No,
he's real humble.
Well, he's a fan.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is the other guy compliments because I guess he's pretty wealthy from his mortgage business and all kinds of shit. But he downplays those.
Yeah.
And you know who he's married to, right?
Who's he married to?
Not Charlotte, not the one in WWE, but Ric Flair's other daughter.
Oh. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. But he downplays all of that. He doesn't like. They'll say like, Arn Anderson. He's like, dude, I just know him through Rick. He downplays everything, and it comes across as genuine. What he wants to question is why did things get fucked up?
Yeah, and he'll sometimes like bring up like past events. I'm trying to find if they haven't done this both 83 Weeks and What Happened When, which is the podcast. It's more like a commentary podcast with Tony Schiavone.
That's the comedy. Like each podcast has this different vibe. Like the Pritchard is kind of a mix between Shivani and Bischoff because there's a lot of comedy, but there's a little bit more of the Bischoff. The Bischoff is just so cerebral because he's not easy on Bischoff at all.
No,
In any
but
of, no.
but apparently they're still good friends.
Well, that's
well,
well.
they
What
get
about you and
along.
I? What about you and I? We argue pretty harshly, right?
Yeah, but
But in the end, we're still friends, right?
right. Have they done an episode or have they talked about the time when they confirmed to lose the fucking Monday Night Wars when Eric Bischoff told Tony Schiavone, "Hey, let's spoil WWF's main event and hope people won't watch the show."
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
I'm trying to look for that and get everyone's reaction
Finger
because
poke
that
of
was the
doom.
dumbest move ever.
Oh, it was in the
Obviously,
same episode as the Finger Poke of Doom.
I got.
That's one of the earliest shows. That's like episode 2 or 3,
I gotta,
something like that.
yeah, I gotta find that episode and listen to it and just, cause Eric Bischoff, he will defend most of his points, but there are things he regrets. Obviously, he regrets that time where Scott Hall became a fucking alcoholic, and they decide, hey, let's make that into a character angle.
Mm-hmm.
God, I don't. I did see that clip where Scott Hall puked on Eric. That shit was funny though.
Well, each show has a different vibe. Like that one, and then the Shivani show. God, there's a piece in it where Shivani does an impression of Macho Man giving out First Communion, Holy Communion. It's so great.
Oh man, or that fucking discussion they had about shaving backs with Buff Bagwell or some shit.
Oh,
I'm like, Jesus Christ, this guy weirdly immature but hilarious.
So yeah, that's the comedy show. The Bischoff show is cerebral, and then like the one he does not.
Oh, hello.
He sometimes goes hard on Shivani.
Huh.
The one he does not press. Oh yeah, what's up?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're
The
kind
one
of
he does not press hard, dude.
What does he not
What's
press
up?
hard on?
Oh, JR, the JR show.
Okay, I haven't seen the Jim Ross show, but I want
It's
to
good,
because
though.
I'm a huge fan of him.
The thing about the Jim Ross show is Conrad's not aggressive towards him, but Jim Ross will get aggressive about things that happen to him in the WWE, and if you listen to it, it sounds like he got bullied a lot.
Yeah, whenever I see WrestleCrap write an article about the shit they would do to JR or try to get rid of him as a commentator, I don't know if it was Brian or RD who would say this, but they would try to resonate that vibe. Like one of the WrestleCrap Kuka Awards was that time when the McMahon family would just abuse JR because of some shit Stone Cold stunned the whole fucking family.
Yeah, there's that, and then there's when he got traded from Raw to SmackDown, and they didn't tell him beforehand.
Geez.
They had told, yeah, that I don't know the exact name, but after the show, I will point you towards that episode. That's a good one to start. And then he's Conrad Thompson. I don't know exactly one, but he's got a 5th show coming out.
Huh. I'm gonna keep my eye on that. In fact, I'm gonna see. Does he have a Twitter?
Yeah,
I
and
need
the
to follow
5th
him
show,
on there.
the 5th show is going to be a different because he's got 2 announcers and 2 behind the stage guys, right? Behind the scene guys. This one's different because it's an actual wrestler. It's Arn Anderson.
Ooh.
So, yeah. Well, part of the reason he finally got him was Anderson left, I think, earlier this year, WWE for AEW.
Okay.
So real quick, I know we've probably got to talk about our video game stuff, but real quick about AEW. Did you hear anything about All Out this weekend?
No, it's all been pretty silent for the most part. I didn't watch any of the match. I didn't even know what the match card was. But did you watch All Out?
Yes, I did.
You're gonna have to take the floor for this one. And you're gonna have to sell it on me because I have yet to watch it. Man, I like to buy DVDs or Blu-rays of this shit.
Okay, so the problem with AEW, and it could be fixed, is some of the matches don't have enough build-up, but they don't have a TV show.
No.
You got to keep that. Yes, they have YouTube videos that do build it up, but is that really enough? You know what I mean?
No, they still need like a weekly show in order to like build up consecutively up until a pay-per-view event in order to get people to buy the pay-per-view.
And that will be rectified on October 2nd.
Okay, so are they still airing on Monday nights on TNT? Because I heard they were airing Wednesday on another
No,
news
what?
article.
No, Wednesday nights. But did you hear about what WWE did though?
Well, no, but I got a question. But I do want to ask the question: why Wednesday nights? I thought we were going for a Monday Night Wars here.
They weren't. They want it's turning into war. Let me explain. So they were going for Wednesday nights because the only show that airs wrestling is the online streaming NXT, which is a really good show, but only an hour and pre-taped, right?
Right.
Well, something happened when they announced that they were going October 2nd, about 2-3 weeks ago later. As you know, SmackDown is moving to Fox under Bischoff's watch, right?
Yeah, that's weird. But I'll explain
Yeah.
that later when you finish everything.
Okay. So it's going to Friday nights on Fox, and their USA Network is losing SmackDown, but they're keeping Raw on Mondays. Well, WWE made a deal with USA where they're going to make NXT the third brand. Not now, it was a developmental brand, but no longer. It has its own set of stars, separate from SmackDown and Raw, and that show is moving to Wednesday nights on USA at the same time AEW is for 2 hours, the exact same 2 hours that AEW will be on.
Oh shit.
And yeah, it's not going to be a developmental like if you watch the matches, the guys they got set like Adam Cole and shit like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
All
It's
right.
crazy. So, yeah, what do you think of that? It's going to be the Wednesday night war now.
I have a feeling that they're going to try to beat the new NXT and probably have them give up, and then I have a feeling they're going to move their slots to Monday next if things go well. But that's like my theory on all this. But okay, so Bischoff is running SmackDown and Heyman's running Raw.
Yep.
That's weird. I thought I would switch those two up because Heyman. Because I don't know if you watched any wrestling in the early 2000s during the Ruthless Aggression era, but Eric Bischoff was the general manager of Monday Night Raw, and in a way, it kind of makes sense. I know Eric Bischoff shouldn't belong there because, you know, he tried to compete with Raw, whatever. Point is, I did like Bischoff when he was on WWE Raw as the general manager, and
Well,
a co-general manager when Steve Austin was brought along. That shit was funny. And for a little time, he was supposed to be longer, but I've heard that Heyman kind of accidentally blew his chance and got fired or something. But Heyman was the general manager of SmackDown for a good period, and I actually really like that setup. You got the former head, you got the former like face of WCW, the former face of ECW, all basically under the wing of the face of WWE. And
well,
it is
go ahead,
weird.
finish.
It is weird, but okay, I like to see how Heyman would run Raw because I think honestly, when Heyman was controlling SmackDown, I was enjoying that a little more.
Okay, couple things. When Bischoff was general manager, that was not creative. That was just an on-screen role.
Okay.
He was written what to told. This is an actual role, and he most likely will not appear on TV. The only reason Heyman will appear on Raw is because he's still the manager for Lesnar. He's his mouthpiece, not for his role as running the creative. But what I have noticed with Raw since Heyman was announced and put under it is that it's a bit more R-rated. The storylines are more sexualized. People are being called vaginas and just shit like that. One guy, when the first Heyman Raw happened, there was that match between Strowman and Bobby Lashley. And did you hear about that match where they ran into the fucking electrical shit?
No, like what happened?
Yeah, they rammed into the like the Raw electric sign. They ran into that, and as they ran into it, you could see things exploding and shit. And one of the announcers goes, "Holy shit!" Uncut and everything. So yeah, they're returning. The PG stuff is going away.
That's good.
And then right now, one of the big storylines, which they've stumbled a little bit, is someone's trying to murder Roman Reigns. And it started off pretty strong, but now it's kind of a weird, like, red herring thing that they're trying to do, and I don't know how to take that. But I will tell you this: one of the best things they have done, old school wise, is the Fiend. You've
Oh,
heard of the Fiend, I'm sure.
the Fiend?
The Fiend, yeah, Bray Wyatt's new character.
No. Like I said, I
Okay,
haven't been paying attention to WWE for the most part.
dude, you should pay a little. You don't have to, but pay a little bit of attention because there's some cool stuff going on. The Fiend is Bray Wyatt was like a cult leader. Now he's like this demonic like thing. He wears a mask made by horror master Tom Savini, which looks really cool.
Oh
Also
wait, I
made
think I've seen an image of the Fiend.
yeah. And what happened was they started this way back in May, and they built him up with video vignettes. Remember, they would do that with Mankind and Gold Dust and all that back in the day. And he didn't show up till July, where he attacked what's his face, Finn Balor. And then he makes these sporadic appearances. He doesn't have a grudge, but he just randomly attacks people because
Damn.
that's his nature. And he had his first match with Balor, and he beat his ass. And right now, like what they're using him for, as far as I can tell, is he attacked Mick Foley. He attacked Jerry the King Lawler. He just attacks people, and they're posing him as a different kind of heel, not the heel that gets in the feud, but a heel that's actually a threat and that's scary.
Oh, that's
Kind
wow.
kind of like old school Undertaker.
Oh yeah.
What? Yeah, like he was a heel, and when they introduced him, he was part of Ted DiBiase's camp. But then he was proved that he's way more powerful, and he was scary. Him and Kane. That's kind of like what the Fiend is, the modern day, and it works.
Oh, that's cool. Maybe I should check that out.
Yeah, I'll send you some stuff. But yeah, I think. And then right now, one last thing I will tell you: the one wrestling that no one's watching, and it's free on Twitch, is Impact. And I will say, Impact, the former TNA, is probably has some of the best fucking storylines right now. That and MLW.
Wow, that is kind of mind blowing because Impact we was seen as a fucking joke for the most part. I mean, they would have some good ideas here and there. That's where Broken Matt Hardy came from, and
Well,
I
not.
freaking love Broken Matt Hardy. But so they've been getting better. You saying?
Oh my God, they are one. They have some of the best storylines right now. There was the storyline where this guy kidnapped the former Sandman from ECW, and he was doing it to fuck with this other guy. The Tessa Blanchard match, Tully Blanchard. They had one of the first woman versus man matches, and it was not politically correct. She even lost the match.
Wow.
So yeah, Impact. That's one thing that's about wrestling too, is that it seems like they're going to a more not as politically incorrect as the Attitude Era, but still where you don't have to worry about woke shit like that. You know what I mean?
All right.
So Impact's good, and then there was one last announcement. Another NWA, which is owned by Billy Corgan. You know who he is, I'm sure.
Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah. He was like in the middle of a lawsuit with Dixie Carter because when he bought Impact, there was some bullshit.
Yeah, but
Last I heard.
He owns NWA now, and he's done a really good job from what I hear. They're going to a TV slot in October as well, but I don't know what station or whatnot. So wrestling's in a good place. There's a lot of good wrestling. It's not like Monday Night Wars. You had only two choices back then. Now you've got all these choices, and some may not get the attention that others do, but fuck it, who cares, right?
Right. All right. Let's see. I think that's it for TV shows and podcasts and wrestling. I guess we can move on to video games.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right. Majority of my time, whenever I have time, I play Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I fucking love that game. It's the first Fire Emblem game I played, but it is potential Game of the Year material right there.
I am playing it. I like what I've played. It's probably not my Game of the Year. I'll tell you one reason. Because you know how I do my Game of the Years. It's not just games that came out this year.
All right.
It's games that come out every year. And what have I been playing? The Trail series.
Good.
So, yeah, that's kind of why it may not be. but it's still a really good game from what I played. So,
Well, Cold Steel 3 comes out, and my sights are still set on picking that game up anyway. So,
oh yeah, that comes out in October. Probably gonna buy the more expensive version with the DLC and everything. So,
I think they sold out on that.
no, I'm buying it digitally
Oh,
because I own the other two digitally.
I'm actually gonna get those games physically because I like the art books. I like the artwork to the game.
Oh, you know me about that. So, um, yeah, I mean, look at this fall, man. We've got a lot of good stuff,
I know, and I can't play them all.
I understand that, and that's the thing about this gen, and this is what I want you to say. Well, not use to say, but I want you to think about. Hopefully, in the same context, we've said, and we're both on the same page for the most part, that this gen is one of the best gens ever, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, which I still don't understand why there are people who says this is the worst gen.
I don't know, but they should just grab a rope and jump at this point if they think this is gonna be.
Fucking
As harsh as that sounds, like if you want to be a depressed bastard who can only enjoy like 3 games and be disappointed by all of them, fine. But don't drag me or anyone else into it. I really hate these pessimistic assholes who can't seem to find games. You know, I used to hate JRPGs. I said, fuck it, I'm gonna try Persona 4 because the fighting game sold me on the characters and soundtrack and all that. It ended up being like one of my favorite games of all time. So much that I actually went out of my way with what little money I have to buy a PlayStation Vita just to play Persona 4 Golden, which is still
right.
the only way you can play that game, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yep.
loved it even more.
And that's the definitive version of that game. Let me say this though. Towards the end of seventh gen, I thought things started to pick up a little bit, right?
It was, yeah.
And then the beginning of this gen was a little bit remastery, but once around 2016 hit, I really think even late 2015, we started to really see what the potential of this gen was. And here's my thing on that. I think right now what makes this gen special is it's a composite of all previous gens.
I could see
Okay.
that.
Okay, let me explain why. A lot of the indie games that I play make me feel like I was one during the 8-bit or 16-bit era, right?
Right.
I play Blazing Chrome, which is a great indie game. I feel like I'm playing Contra, which I can actually play Contra because I got that too, right? With all the beat 'em ups that have come out, the new ones, which I'm going to talk about one in particular called 99 Vitas, which is really overlooked and really fucking good. 99 Vitas is a beat 'em up, and I feel like I'm at the arcade in the 90s. But on top of that, I with all the JRPGs we're getting too, when I play something like Three Houses, or I play something like what else do we got, Trails or whatever, I feel like I'm back in Tales of Berseria even, or I'll go further, Final Fantasy 15 even. I feel like I'm back in the PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 eras. So the conclusion, what I've been thinking a lot about this gen that makes it special is it's not all about shooters like it was last generation. It's about what I grew up, even old school PC games. What game RPG do you and I love?
Uh,
That's Western
uh,
that no one plays.
well, let's see. Witcher 3. Well, I
No,
do. A,
not that one. One that no one plays.
a
That
Western
you and I.
RPG?
Yeah.
What year was it made?
Okay? I'll just give it to you. Divinity.
Oh, yeah, Divinity Original Sin. Jeez. You gotta be more
Okay.
specific because there's a lot of Western RPGs nobody plays.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's a very old school Baldur's Gate esque game with some modern mechanics. Even takes me back to my PC days in high school. I mean, that's what makes this gen so fucking badass, dude.
I actually
And
heard Obsidian is making a Baldur's Gate 3. Is that true?
who was it? Was it Obsidian?
No,
No,
no, or
no,
was
no,
it
no, no.
Larian?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Those guys are making a Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I'm really excited for that. But what I'm coming to is not only on top of that, but we're getting a lot of good little inventive stuff that's not bullshitty. For example, the new Yakuza games, which you love, right?
Yeah, by the way,
Uh,
did you hear about the news of the new Yakuza game coming out?
yeah, it's turn-based, but I'm gonna wait and see. I'm sure they'll do something unique with it.
I think I'm still gonna play it, and the gameplay is gonna be very interesting. But wow, okay, I didn't expect them to do that.
But you know what? That's one thing I will say too that makes this gen better. We get Japanese game companies are coming back, right? Look at
Right.
Sega, for example. I mean, that's their flagship now is these Yakuza games, and I mean, we still get stuff like Valkyria Chronicles 4 game. I think you enjoy, right?
Right. Yeah, I love Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah, I need to get that one. But I mean, we get these Yakuza games from Sega, and we get Valkyria Chronicles, and even a new Shining game that I had, Shining Resonance, which I enjoyed. The point I'm saying is the Japanese companies are all coming back. Look at Capcom now, right?
Right.
Even they had a few missteps. Like, I'll be honest, as much as I love Street Fighter V, that launch was a misstep. The only reason that game was safe for me was the core gameplay. But even at that, they really misstepped on that game. But other than that, what have they done this year in particular?
Monster Hunter World, Resident Evil 2. I get it. I'm sorry to call you out on this, but you are sounding like a broken clock at this point.
How am I broken clock?
We've had this discussion since the second episode.
Hold on. I know we have, but let me finish because that's not my point, okay?
Okay.
What I am saying here is that what makes this gen special is many genres have defined a generation, right?
Right.
What defined 8-bit games? Platformers, right?
Right.
Super Nintendo and such, platformers and shoot 'em ups.
And fighting games.
And fighting games. Yeah, well, I'll go far and say it was fighting games. The 16-bit era. What defined the PlayStation era?
3D fighting games.
No.
Tekken.
JRPGs.
No, Tekken, Virtua Fighter.
No, that's when they were in a decline. JRPGs were defined.
No, they weren't, man. People love Tekken 3.
Oh, I know people love Tekken 3, but what I'm saying is that JRPGs for the PlayStation is what helped Sony beat the N64. You couldn't get those experiences on the N64.
Okay, that's true.
Okay, so there's that. What defined games in PlayStation 2 era, though? It was a little bit mixed, right?
Right.
Okay. 7th gen. What unfortunately defined that genre?
Shitters? I mean shooters?
Okay. So what I'm saying is that this generation does not have a defining genre. That's what makes it great. That's my ultimate point, and I've never said that. There's no defining genre. Yes, some shooters get attention, but they're few and far. Well, they're not few and far between. You still get them, but they're not like ramming them in your face like they used to.
All right, so what other video games did you play?
Okay, so spinning off of that, I played 99 Vidas. Have you heard of this game?
Heard about it, but I didn't really try it out.
You should if you get a chance. Buy the Switch version. I have the PS4 version. The PS4 version is good, but it's bare bones. The Switch version is the definitive. It includes the DLC and stuff that's not even available for the PS4 version.
Sounds like the Crypto Necrodance port, actually.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Crypto Necrodance, the same thing. It came with all the DLC and some exclusive content that's non-existent in the Steam and console versions, like couch co-op multiplayer.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. If you want to get Crypto Necrodancer, if you want to get any indie game, buy a fucking Switch.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how 99 Vidas...
I'm going to get River City Girls on the Switch. As much as I want to stream that on PS4, I want to get it on the Switch.
I'm getting it on Switch, too. And you know what sells it, what helps? Not only definitive versions, but handheld mode.
Yes. I like to play that game on the go when I'm having to wait in line or wait for my pizza or at the fucking auto shop, which I don't want to be in, but okay.
Well, yeah, I mean, that'll go by quick with those games. And, I mean, look at 99 Vidas. 99 Vidas has a arcade mode, a story mode, a remix mode, a versus mode, and a survival mode. Do you know what the PS4 version has? A campaign mode, which is essentially the arcade mode. That's it.
Damn.
Yeah. Plus there's unlockable characters. There's unlockable stuff. The game is cool because it's set in this fantasy, weird, strange version of Colombia. It's not politically correct because The boss is very much like the infamous boss that was cut out of Streets of Rage 3, aka Bare Knuckle 3.
Uh huh.
Yeah, they have a boss exactly like that. That's a gay stereotype.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, they basically they no one complained about it because no one played the game, which I guess in
Yeah,
that
that's
sense.
that's the advantage of being a niche title, like a niche Western title at least. It's like, yeah, you can probably do some crazy shit. No one will know. No one will care.
And hey, the only reason for the stereotype is it's not, we live in a hypocritical society. Gay stereotypes are bad, but Mexican stereotypes aren't. I find that kind of funny. Anyway, just saying. Um, Not that I'm offended, I'm just calling out the hypocrisy. But 99 Vidas, the way it plays is it's a combo of, say, Golden Axe, Streets of Rage, and Dungeons and Dragons. Okay? The arcade game. It's like Golden Axe because you have a magic meter similar to what you do in Golden Axe. You remember that, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so you have the magic meter. It's similar to Dungeons and Dragons because there are shops at the end of each level,
That's
and
good.
it has like I guess a Dead Rising type of thing where when you start the game, your character has some attacks, but he's kind of weak. But as you progress through the game, and it's roguelike, you only have one credit. But what happens is as you spend money in the stores, you upgrade all your attacks. I got one character fully upgraded. Okay, I kind of figured out how this game works. His attacks now are so badass he takes out people. Now I can go back and the only thing I can buy from shops are extra lives. You see how that works?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how you beat the game. And each time you beat a game with one character, you unlock another one. And that's not the story mode. That's just the arcade mode. So, and the story mode is kind of like a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter story mode where you play as the different characters and as it progresses the story. But man, it's really cool. Supports up to 4 players. They have options such as damage. You could turn on the if you want it to be a little extreme, you can damage your partner, that type of stuff. So
Friendly fire disabled.
yeah. Oh, I have it disabled too, but there's some people who like that. Especially if I'm playing with my son, he'll just attack me. So yeah, 99 Vidas is a really good game.
Right. So a game I picked up on the Switch,
Mm-hmm.
which I was surprised it was going to be on the Switch, is this weird first-person shooter known as Super Hot. I don't know if you heard of this game.
My son showed me that. That does look. I'm not big on first-person shooters, but that looks interesting.
See, the game also kind of feels more like a puzzle because when it's like this. It's this weird kind of like setting where everything's white except for the objects you interact with. They're black, and the enemies they're all red, and they look like polygonal glasses.
Mm-hmm.
When you attack in that game, when you move around, everything else moves around you. But if you stand still in a place, they'll like freeze in slow motion. So the game just feels more like a puzzle game because you're gonna be like, okay, I have to attack this guy next. You shoot this guy. It's kind of weird and interesting. But my experience, I did pick up that game because I thought it was going to be good, knowing it was actually going to be entertaining for an FPS. Because my experience prior to that was the VR version of Super Hot, which I did play a
Oh,
lot, and I loved it.
so do you like this version as much?
Oh, the Switch version's really fucking good.
You,
No
yeah.
complaints so far. The only thing is that there's the gyro feature, and it only works well when you play it as a handheld. I tried to do it undocked with the Joy Cons, and it just didn't feel right. It's best just to turn that off.
Gotcha. But so it's a solid game though, and it's
Yeah,
just unique. And yeah, I saw it, and even the look of it made it look unique. Because I mean, everyone looks like just kind of like spherical objects or something.
yeah. Like I said, they're just glass people, and when you shoot them, they break into pieces.
Yeah, yeah. My son, like I said, my son's like, we were scrolling through the store, and he peered up. He says, "Can you buy super hot?" And I'm like, "What the fuck's that?" And I went and looked at the trailers. Like, this looks kind of neat. I think I'll pass on it for now because there's other stuff coming out, obviously. But it looks like something I would pick up on a sale, though.
Yeah. It's only
Yeah,
$25, but yeah, I would recommend for a sale because indie games go on sale a lot on the Switch,
gotcha.
more than the main first party titles on Nintendo. I mean, I picked up Crypto and Dancer for the Switch for like I don't know $5. It was,
And that's a good game.
and I'm hoping Cadence of Hyrule eventually goes on sale eventually because Mario Rabbids goes on sales a lot, and that game's also really fucking good. And I do like Crypto Dancer. I played the demo of Cadence of Hyrule, and it's still pretty solid for the most part. Um, it's definitely a Zelda game. It's definitely a Necrodancer game. Uh, it's very interesting because the way the game Zelda plays, Crypto Necrodancer, um, it's tile based when you explore the map of Hyrule, just like in the 8-bit game. You basically go to a section, beat up the enemies, and then once you beat the enemies, you don't have to dance to the rhythm. The music kind of just mellows out, and you don't have to move to the beat anymore. You can just collect the
Gotcha.
diamond, the elements, and then you move to the next part of the square and do rinse, rather, repeat, explore some dungeons, get some secrets, yada yada yada. They really put a lot of thought into making this as much of a Zelda game as it is their own thing.
I bought the game, but I deleted it because I wasn't. I liked it a lot. Don't get me wrong, but I deleted it because I don't have space.
Yeah,
This is
that's
going to
another
change this
problem.
week. I'm going to. I have a 32 gig card. Guess what I'm doing? I'm upgrading to a 200 gig card.
I have to upgrade to a
Yeah,
what was it? Not 312, more than that.
500.
Maybe. I've
Yeah,
already used up 128, dude.
I think I may have. I don't think I used that much because I bought a lot of my games, a lot of the retail games on cards. I have about 15 games on the cards, physical copies. But I can tell you that I am going to, if I do this, I'm going to get both Dragon Quest and Zelda because they're not that big on the Switch digitally. So Zelda is only going to be the Link's
Link's
Awakening
Awakening. Yeah.
remake. That's only 5 gigs, dude.
Yeah, but at least let me finish one campaign of Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh, why would you need to finish one campaign?
Because, like I said, I don't want to buy any more JRPGs and then abandon the ones I already finished, filled in my backlog.
Uh, well,
That's
I don't.
It's like, why would I pay $60 for a game I'm probably not going to touch for now? When if I just beat this game and wait,
Right.
there's potential for a sale. That's pretty much the best route to take. I mean, I need to.
For you for me it's different because my attention just goes to different games at times.
I know, but I
Yeah,
have to like finish shit because
yeah.
that's kind of my weakness. I mean, River City Girls. I'm pretty sure I'm going to finish that in a week, maybe. Because
Can we
beat 'em
play
ups on
that
that.
together online?
We should. I mean, the previous beat 'em up games have that feature, and Way Forward, who are developing this game under Arc System Works overseeing it, they've developed Double Dragon Neon, and that game was available for online multiplayer, which is another game I've actually played in the past couple of weeks with a friend of mine because
Oh, okay.
that game was like on sale for $3. I used to own it on my Xbox, but my Xbox red ring for the final time, and I don't feel like getting that shit repaired because I don't feel like touching my 360 anymore. Um, but it's on Steam, and the game's great. They claim to have fixed they claim to have fixed a glitch where the game would randomly crash on Windows 10. They didn't because it crashed 4 times on me when I was playing that game with a friend of mine.
Right.
Here's the thing: every time it crashed, though, my friend sent me the invite, and I was able to just jump right in without any real problems whatsoever. So that was good. It didn't.
What?
It wasn't that much of a deal breaker for me. Other than that, the game is still as solid as much as I remember it. The gameplay was fun. The soundtrack is
Right.
fucking amazing. Jake Kaufman really like makes it 80s as hell. The game is quirky. I mean, the main villain in the game is Skeletor. He's basically Skeletor.
Oh shit.
Like
You know.
his name is
Go ahead.
Skullmageddon. He has a pretty menacing design, but he fucking talks like Skeletor all the time.
Oh
I'm
fuck.
not kidding. You should. The game is very silly, very tongue in cheek, very goofy.
I have. I have it on my PS3, so it's one I was thinking about lately. Funny enough, because look, Way Forward is to me one of the most solid design game developers out there. Sure, they've had their missteps. I'm looking at you, Ducktales. You know,
What's wrong with
and
Ducktales?
the problem that I have with DuckTales, the DuckTales remake, is every it would have been a perfect game, but that game did not need as many cutscenes as that game had.
Didn't they make like a version where didn't they make like an arcade version where you can traverse through the stages without them?
I don't know if they did. I haven't played that game since like 2013, but if they did, then I would give that game a second look.
Hmm.
But my problem was it was it was almost as bad as Kojima like. And if you played the original DuckTales, there are sections that you meet up with the other characters from the show, but it's really like, oh, here, take this item or something. It's really brief. No, these were cutscenes that progressed the story, the plot. And I get they did that for nostalgia's sake because they did have most of the original voice cast, which some of them have since passed, sadly.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why some people defend it. But for the flow of the game, it just did not work. However, I'm not going to shit on WayForward because they have made Mighty Switch Force, Mighty Switch Force 2, the Double Dragon Neo. They have made the Shantae games, which I've enjoyed. And of course, they have made one of my favorite games on the DS, and that is Contra 4.
Yeah, that's good. Awesome.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good company. So, River City Girls, you're a fan of this franchise. I am as well. What are you expecting from it?
I am expecting well, I've seen some of the gameplay actually. It's gonna have cutscenes and voice acting.
Okay.
Um, they even have the cutscenes look like manga panels, and the artwork actually looks pretty good from what I've seen so far.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually blown away by the completely different art direction this game has because the River City franchise has been sticking with those Kunio-kun sprites from the NES days very stringently. Even in River City Ransom Underground,
Yeah.
where they did spice it up by adding more animations and shit, but it still felt like that. But no, they changed it to look something completely different, and I was okay with that.
What? Yeah, that's that. Look, that series needed a spruce. It's kind of like I don't mind. I don't dislike Mega Man 9 or 10, but I really don't think they should have went back to the sprites because I really thought Mega Man 8, which is one of my favorites, looked pretty. So when they went to 11, that game looks good. It's real colorful. So it's kind of the same progression. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It needed that change. And can you do all the things you can do, like buy items and things like that?
Yeah, you can still like go to stores and buy upgrades and stuff. I definitely saw a menu where they can buy upgrades and special attacks. And what's funny is the artwork they show for the shop. You see Jimmy Lee from Double Dragon in there.
Nice, nice.
And I want to say a Bobo might be an enemy in the game.
Well, people forget about that connection too, the Double Dragon River City Ransom, because the NES ports were done by Technos, correct?
Yeah, and I believe they were both directed by the same guy at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I have faith this game will do great.
I am pumped, and you and I should play if we get a chance.
Oh yeah, dude. I'm picking that game up on launch.
Yeah, same here. And I am real. I mean, like I said, beat 'em ups, a genre thought dead.
Nope.
Why? No, nope, not anymore. Well, it hasn't been dead for a long time, but like if
I
you would
would
have gone 10 years ago, yeah, probably.
Yeah, I would go more into it, but I want to save it for the next episode because I do have some other beat 'em ups that were pretty obscure that I've played as well, but I don't want to go into it right now.
Yeah, and I'll talk more about 99 Vitas because hopefully I'll have it beaten at least with one character. So.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that game—that's one you would like too, man. I really think you would.
All right.
What else have you been playing? Because I got one other game.
Should I bring this game up?
Ooh, okay, why?
Uh, I decided to reinstall No Man's Sky.
Okay.
Played a little bit of it. It's gotten better. It's still a crafting survival game, so if you're into survival and exploration, you'll probably love this game a lot. If you haven't already, even though the game was a giant misstep a couple of years ago. The animals feel more lifelike now that I've seen them, and they actually have like some legit movements, and it feels right. But I don't know if I'm gonna keep playing this game even as like a sit down casual play while listening to podcasts, because that's really most of my entertainment media right now. It's just I just listen to podcasts. Even when I work out now, I just like to listen
Yeah.
to hear people talk while I multitask. But I don't know, man. The game's pretty good. I'm pretty sure Beyond is going to at least make most people happy. Um, but I don't think I'm still sticking with that. But yeah, I
Yeah. So
think
no
that's.
man's. That's a game I will never play.
I don't think. Yeah, I don't think this game will interest you.
Yeah. I did. Here's the funny thing. One game that I bought that I had my PS4 that I thought was a good fit on the Switch was that Genesis Classic Collection, right?
Right.
And that makes sense. That's a good fit on the Switch, right?
Right.
So I'll talk more about this in the beat 'em up, but I did beat Golden Axe 2. But I did beat another game, a longer term game on there, and that was Beyond Oasis. You've heard of this, right?
Uh, actually, no.
You never heard. Okay, so Beyond Oasis is, at least look up some of the sprite work. It's got the best, some of the best, if not best, sprite work for the Genesis. Big bosses, real colorful. You know, more of a Super Nintendo like presentation. Beyond Oasis, its plot is pretty simple. You're a prince of this kingdom. You go. He likes to dig treasure. He finds a magical armlet, and the magical armlet warns him, "Oh, there's the evil armlet, which is the silver armlet. The good one is the gold. Evil one wants to cause chaos. You got to stop him, right?"
Right.
So essentially, that's the story of it. Along the way the game works is, it's, I say it would be Zelda-like, but I think it plays more like Illusion of Gaia in a way.
Huh.
It's, yeah, because there are villages in the game, but there are no shops. Okay.
I'm
There
looking
are
at the
hidden
sprite work
quests,
now,
like
and yeah, that stuff looks pretty big.
yeah,
Even the main
yeah,
character.
yeah, and look up, like, even like, the if you want to get spoiled, look up the final boss. He looks cool as shit.
Huh.
So there's that, and then what's really neat about the game is it plays pretty well. The dungeons are a lot of puzzle solving, right? Not overly cryptic though, which is good. They're challenging, but they're not cryptic like, say, Alundra was, right?
All right.
I'm sure you're familiar with Alundra. One of the coolest things too is you gain abilities throughout the game, and you get these by collecting the four spirits. So there's fire. They're not the ones you would think necessarily. Fire and water, yes, but you also get shadow element and plant element. Funny, huh? Instead of earth and air, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's cool about the game is you get these elements and you summon the spirits, and they all look cool. But you can't just summon them at will. The way it works is when you don't have it summoned, your armlet shoots a beam of light, right?
Right.
If you want to summon the fire guy, you go towards a lantern or a torch or a fucking campfire, and you shoot the beam of light at fire, right?
Right.
For water, a body of water, maybe it's a little water dripping down. Same concept there. For shade, a mirror or a reflective crystal. For the plant one's a little. He's probably the most useless of the spirits, in my opinion. The most useful are probably fire and water, and to a degree, shade. I would say those three are very useful. Plant's not really useful, but yeah, that's how the game works, and it's pretty unique. And yeah, and it's got some good set pieces. Like, once you go through the first half of the game, your castle gets attacked, so that's kind of a set piece, you know. And then the end of the game is pretty fun. The final boss battles are really well done. So if you have the Genesis collection, it's a game that's worth looking at. My only complaint is those hit detections sometimes can be a little wonky.
Ah, okay.
And something that some people may not like is you do have an axe that's infinite, but let's say Breath of the Wild was not the first to do breakable weapons. Although I got the most powerful sword in the game, and it's infinite, so it doesn't break. Not everything breaks, but for the most part, every weapon breaks. So just saying.
Okay.
But it's good. Do you have that Genesis Classics collection?
No, I haven't picked it up yet.
I would, for me, it's worth $30. But if it ever drops down to like 10, it'd be something to pick up. And I mean, you don't have to play Beyond Oasis, but if you want to play something quick like Sonic 2 or something, it's got that, and it's even got Phantasy Star 4, which I do want to revisit. Probably, maybe once I beat Trails 2.
All right. I don't know if there was any other games I played. I mean, I played a little more Smash Ultimate, and still a fun game. Nothing really else to say, but Fire Emblem Three Houses, you're right. That game is basically Trails of Cold Steel. I know a lot of
Yeah.
people are going to compare it to the Persona games, and there are similar elements to that. But that game falls in line with Trails of Cold Steel for people who've already played that game.
It falls into it more than it does Persona.
Yes,
Bec-
and there's because of the way your events are set up to
you
where.
explain it. Go ahead.
Okay, so in the game, half of it is the turn-based tactical RPG stuff, but then the other half is that you instruct students and get them to level up their skills so they can like get into better classes, such as warrior, swordmaster, mage, etc., etc. But then once a day, you spend exploring the school academy of Garrick Mach, and you are giving a number of like limited events besides some side quests you could do. And those side quests are just some of them are easy, like oh go fetch this item, there you go, here's your reward and all that shit. You can also go fishing, you can also listen to advice notes, but you're also given like a number of sets of events and that you can do. Like you could spend time to train and get better with your skills, or you can like have lunch with your classmates and have your bonds grow, and that's where the Cold Steel things kind of parallel with me, as well as some of the story beats. I can't go into details because I will be spoiling both games pretty hard, but boy is it feeling more and more like, okay, I'm already at the first half of the game. That's Cold Steel 1. The second half of the game feels more like Cold Steel 2.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I really want. I love Fire Emblem. So I'm excited. Let me explain something to people though, real quick, who are comparing it to Persona. The reason I don't think that's a valid, and I know you can agree on this, is Persona is set up very differently. Believe it or not, it goes pretty much not every day, but pretty much most every day, right?
Right.
You do things, and the way it's structured, and you're even more. I think you're even more so limited in Persona, right?
Right.
Because, for example, on one day, you can only spend time with one person, but not everybody is available on that day. And Trails does work like that, but you have a lot more, and you have a lot more abilities. And I think even if you beat New Game Plus, there's a way where you can get bonding points to bond with everyone in your New Game points, right? Isn't there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
God, I almost want to say there's like the ability. Here's the thing about the Trails New Game Plus. It actually has like a New Game Plus currency system.
Yeah.
So like the more times you beat it over, the more you'll get to unlock and carry over stuff. But I want to say Infinite Bonding Points was like one of those things you could do.
Yeah. You know what game does that? What series does that too?
What?
The Tales series. When you beat it, you earn grade points, and you use those grade points to pay for what you carry over from your original game.
Interesting.
Yeah, they do that too, but they're very different games. The reason I think Trails is more applicable to Fire Emblem is it's a military school, not a regular school.
Right.
If you go fishing in Persona, you're done. That's your activity. You're done. In the Trails and Fire Emblem, you can fish and still bond with people. You don't lose out on it. That's the key thing. And it's very similar. So I honestly believe that Nintendo did look at the Trails series. I know. No, you know what? I'm not going to say I believe. I know they did. But
They had
that's not
to.
a bad.
But that's not a bad
Yeah.
thing. We're not going to say, oh, Fire Emblem is a poor man's Trails of Cold Steel. No, like, you want to be inspired by other games to do similar things, that's great, and Fire Emblem has enough for it to be its own spin. Like, for example, Trails' gameplay is still turn-based, but Fire Emblem is still tactical turn-based. And for some reason, I find myself gravitating towards that gameplay more. Like most of the RPGs
Yeah.
I have played and finished in the past were tactical turn-based, like Devil Survivor 2, and I even played the first two Disgaea games, even back when I hated JRPGs.
Yeah, you always liked those games. I remember that.
Yeah, but
Real quick though, one other thing that does make Fire Emblem a little bit different is the way they do bonding events. So in Trails, for example, you would find Laura in the general store. You go talk to Laura, right?
right.
I'm just making this up, and it would be a story scene about like that would flesh out her character a little bit more. So like, oh, I can't cook. Can you show me, help me? And then she'll explain why and go into a little bit like little bit more details that aren't the most important in backstory, but flesh her out, right?
Right.
In Fire Emblem, you can do singing, you sing in the choir, or you cook, or you have a meal with your party members.
Or you
That's
can
how
have
that
tea
works.
time with them.
I have not unlocked that yet.
Yeah, that's a feature that you unlock later. And here's the thing, it's the whole character story bonding event doesn't really come in because you have to like build their likable you have to build their bond, and you can tell you're building bond by seeing their character icon with an up arrow going up, and when it gets high enough, you can be able to trigger those support events and see those cinematics with your character. But what I also really like is that they interact with the other party members if they can actually get along with each other, and they trigger new interactions with each other as well. So yeah, and I really like that because it definitely feels more interconnected.
And I will say this is not going to be the direction that Fire Emblem goes into from now on. You know why I say that?
Why?
Not because they don't like it, but because every Fire Emblem since really Awakening has been different. Awakening takes its inspiration more from Phantasy Star 3 and Dragon Quest V than it does other games. I say that because there is a marriage system. You can choose a character, marry, and then your kid turns out like that character. That makes sense, right?
Right.
Okay. Fire Emblem Fates, which I like, but I get why other people don't, with the two game things, takes its inspiration from Pokemon in a way, right?
Right.
Two games that offer similar but different experiences. This one takes its inspiration from Trails. And I will say that's a fucking fact. If you've never heard of Trails, you should look into that series. I strongly advise it, especially if you like JRPGs. But I will say this.
Wait, Fire Emblem Fates?
That it's not...
Fates takes its inspiration from the Trails series?
No. I meant Three Houses.
Okay.
I meant Fates. Yeah, Fates is more like Pokemon.
Okay.
And it's more like... I'll get into that another time. But really, each game has done something different.
All right.
And I honestly don't see them going anywhere, going the same path with the next game. So
well, unless they make more money than they expected, they probably will. I don't know. I mean, that usually happens, but who knows? We'll see. I am looking forward to the next sequel of Fire Emblem whenever that gets announced in a couple years down the line. It's nothing to worry about right now. But we are out of time, and we gotta have to wrap it up here. We now have a Discord server, which I'll post a link in the description below. So you guys could come in and join in Magus's Discord. And we do have a section for Absolute Counter where you can post questions, and we'll post our episodes and updates there. And you can feel free to shoot the breeze with the rest of the members of our community.
Yeah. Hopefully we'll get some more people in. And we've had a good time,
Yeah.
So.
And we can find you on YouTube, MagusX1. Do you have anywhere else now?
No.
Okay. All right. So I'll post my Twitter link below. You guys can follow me there. I don't post a lot there, just occasional updates like this episode or whatnot. But I might be mostly using Discord for posting updates now, since most people hate Twitter, understandably so, though. But Discord, that I think that'll get my audience will definitely get a better word there. So that's all I got. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We might do more freestyles like this in the future. And with that, this is Darkscream signing out.
And with that,
take care, everybody.